You're listening to the Life Friendly Business Podcast. I'm your host, Erin Thomas Wong, business mentor, author, and founder of the Cocoon VIP membership, empowering women around the world to build businesses on their terms. If you want to grow and scale a business that works in harmony with your family and your life, this podcast is for you. Hello and welcome back to the Life Friendly Business Podcast. I'm Erin and I'm recording this episode just before the new year, which is a great time to be reflecting on how things have been going in our life and business, but also thinking about how we want things to be going forward. And one of the things that I really want you to think about for the new year is what you can say no to. I'm all for saying yes to fantastic opportunities, but I am also all for saying no to things that don't align with us, things that take us away from the things that we want to focus on, and things that are meaning that we're not able to protect our own well-being and our own mental health. I often find when I'm speaking to my Evolve Mastermind clients that the reason they start to feel overwhelmed or overstretched is because they've committed to doing other things for other people, and it's taken them away from the stuff that they need to do. And it's also impinged on their boundaries and made them feel bad. And this is the thing about boundaries. With a life-friendly business approach, we need to be setting those boundaries and we need to be doing everything we can to ring fence it. So for example, for me, one of my boundaries is I only want to work during school hours where at all possible. So I work like 9 till 2 so I can pick my son up after school. And I know that if I have to take calls late afternoon, sometimes that can make me feel really torn because I want to be there for the kids, but I need to do the work, and then they're coming in and it's all distracting, and then I feel irritated at them, and then I feel guilty that I feel irritated at them. So that's a boundary that I have set in place to protect myself as well as that time for me to be mum and time with the kids. So if you want a life-friendly business, you need to be thinking about which of these things are most important to you and which are the things that you know that if they don't happen, that's when things feel out of kilter and where you don't feel great. But saying no can feel so hard, and I totally appreciate that. And, it's a journey that I've been on myself. I'm still on it, of learning how and when to say no. And I'm going to be talking about that later on in the episode. But why do we find it so hard? I mean, I think it probably does stem from when we're children and we're taught to be really polite and, go along with what we're told by the adults. And then as we get older, women especially, we become people pleasers. We want people to like us. So we say yes to things that maybe we don't actually want to do, or we say yes to things because we feel like we should do it because that's the nice thing to do, or we should do it because we can do it. Also, there's the idea of, of FOMO, fear of missing out, thinking like if we say no, then we're going to miss something really fun or miss this amazing opportunity. So we're constantly having to make these assessments and decisions about what we should say yes or no to in our business. And that's why it's amazing to have like an intimate group of business friends, like in the Evolve Mastermind or in the Cocoon, that you can bounce this stuff around with, because it takes up so much space in our heads when we've got these kind of thoughts and decisions going around. But if you can actually just talk it through with someone, it can really make a difference. But we really do need to learn to say no. And I want you to be thinking about what you're going to say no to going forward. And the reason that we need to say no is because every time we're saying yes to something, like to someone else's urgent stuff, we're inadvertently saying no to something of ours, which could actually be something that's really, really important. So if we want to have a life-friendly business, we need to be really intentional with our time and energy, because time and energy, they're two of our biggest assets. Like these are really important things that we need to protect. We also need to protect our mental health. And, if you're saying yes to other people all of the time and trying to be everything to everyone, then, it's really easy to feel overwhelmed and exhausted. And we need to be protecting ourselves so that we can prevent burning out. So I appreciate that, there's lots of different things that you might need to say no to, but I've got some ideas here of how you can say no that might make you feel a bit better. And maybe, if we talk through these, then when situations come up, you'll feel a little bit more prepared to say no. So sometimes in your business, you might be asked to do things. You might be asked to do a free talk for someone or attend an event or those kind of things. So you could say, I'm honoured that you've asked me, but I simply can't. So you're saying thank you in a really lovely way, but you simply can't. So I'm honoured you've asked me, but I simply can't. If people are asking you to do free stuff, like have a call with you or do a project for free because it will give you great exposure, all these different things, you could say that you're fully booked. That's one way to say no. You could say, thanks so much for considering me. Please see here for my prices and packages, and then send that in a link. You could say, I love this one as well, I'm unable to take on any unpaid projects, but I'll circle back if that changes. I think that is such a lovely way to say it because, if we're worried about people not liking us, it's still really lovely. And you're also leaving the door open for things to change. So I'm unable to take on any unpaid projects, but I will circle back if that changes. So if you find yourself getting lots of DMs, direct messages or emails from people wanting to pick your brains for free, one thing that you could reply to them with is, I typically charge a flat fee for this, so I'm unable to answer it in a DM, but I'll drop you a link here with how you can book a consultation. So making it really clear that, do you know what, I value my time. That's what you're saying. I value my time. I'm busy. And if you would like to tap into my expertise, here's a link. So also some other general ways that you can say no. I don't have the bandwidth right now. I like that one. Also, I don't have the capacity right now, but perhaps you could try XYZ. So that way you are signposting them to something else that might help them, but you're making it very clear that you don't have the capacity to help them. So I really hope that they help and give you an idea of how you could be saying no in a nice way, in a way that doesn't burn any bridges, just that it's just very real. And, I think when it comes to friends and family as well, like inviting you to go to things, you can always say, thanks so much for thinking of me. However, I'm just not able to go at this point. Or, and I think, I talk a lot about how being busy isn't a badge of honor. But if you need to use the term, I'm just really busy, to be able to say no, I would say if that's going to help you protect your boundaries, then use it. So lots of different ways that you can be saying no, because if we are going to adopt this life-friendly business approach, we need to be super savvy with our time. Time management is the absolute key to making sure that you are super productive and effective with the limited time that you have to work. And so in order to do that, in order to nail that, you need to be really protective, fiercely protective of your time, your energy. You need to be honoring your boundaries, and you need to learn to be okay with saying no. I'd really love to hear whether this resonated with you, whether this was helpful to you, and what you might be saying no to in this new year. Please reach out. I'm on social at LifeFriendlyBiz, or you can email me at erin@lifefriendlybusiness.com. But I do have an online course that will help you create this life-friendly business blueprint for yourself. It's an online course. It's self-led. It's at your own pace, but it talks you through building those foundations in your business, no matter whether you're just starting out or you've been running for years. And it helps you take that time to reflect on what your boundaries are, and also how you can be managing your time better so that you can have this life-friendly business. So I'd love you to check that out, and I'll see you next week on the podcast. Do you feel like flexibility needs to come later down the line? Perhaps when you've replaced your old salary, when you've hit a certain number of subscribers, when you're enjoying consistent 5k months. Don't make the mistake of going all in to get to a certain level of success and then trying to make your business life friendly. Because the truth is that life friendliness can be baked in from the very beginning. You can make changes now, no matter where you are in your business journey, and still strive for success. Building a business is a marathon, not a sprint. And rather than being overstretched, overwhelmed, and overcommitted, I'd like to help you enjoy the journey. Check out the Life Friendly Business Blueprint online course and make strides to transforming your life and business. You can find it at lifefriendlybusiness.com/blueprint.